Okay, sorry for the delay. It is time for the Dean Boone School District Technology Committee. Normally that's chaired by Mr. Strobel. He's not here today. Ms. Leone also sits on this committee. She's not here today. But we have, for the committee, I'm Julia Olafson, and we have Ms. Godfrey. Everybody else who's here, if you could just say who you are.
Scott Metz.
Russ Jarek.
Rick Cooper.
Rob Early.
Angela Owens. Kathy Hayes.
All right, yeah, I threw everybody off because I don't usually run this committee. I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Matz, doing infrastructure planning.
You got it.
Okay.
All right, so under that heading of infrastructure planning, our main topic of conversation has been the phone system. And where we left that last month was the question if we'd be able to actually secure the hardware to move forward with that project. And we have been able to do so. So at this point, that was the last checkbox that was open for us. So that would be next step. We'll confirm as far as any agreements that need to be executed, that sort of thing. We have those available for approval in May, but at this point we are in good shape as far as our ability to start the year with a phone in either classroom, phone on each desk. That's largely brought to a conclusion. So any follow-up questions really on that overall project?
I don't have any. Yeah. You have any? Okay. End user equipment, or did that cover that as well?
Nope. That's
okay.
So end user equipment are computer equipment in classrooms. So back in January, you mentioned it is not a big year as far as that goes on that equipment. We just had less than 50 computers, and those are here at the high school. One being the music computer lab, one being the media lab, I'll say, for the video editing, that sort of thing. We should also have that for approval as well. Total cost there at $14,700 for the full per year for the 4 years for those computers.
For that, that's for the 4 years of life, or
yes.
Okay.
Correct. So again, relatively small year comparatively. We're usually looking at a couple hundred computers, like I said. We were at 45.
You said about 45 to 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's it as far as end user equipment. Any questions on that front?
And voting, will that expenditure be also May? We'll be voting on that, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I'm actually trying to take better notes than I normally do, since I have to hand one to somebody else. All right. Integrated learning.
Yep, and actually, I'm going to back up one
Oh, okay.
project, just to add an item.
Okay.
Under the heading of cybersecurity. So that's obviously been a topic of conversation, certainly in the news. It's been a topic of conversation locally amongst school districts. Another district was unfortunately the victim of an attack.
Oh, in addition to since the last time we met, weren't there some in February?
I'm trying to remember the timing. It could be.
Okay,
I don't remember the exact timing now.
that's fine.
Yeah, but in addition, just to touch on some of the topics or the methods that we're using in the district, just to give you some ideas of what we're doing to be proactive. I think it could be since the last time we met as we're thinking this through. So we are utilizing multi-factor authentication. So that's text message to your phone or push notification. Certainly in our office, we've been rolling that out aggressively to all of our staff. So that's a main line of defense for us. So that's what if a user has their credentials compromised, that will step in to help mitigate that kind of situation.
When do you think that all staff will have that for them to get into their email and stuff?
So it is our intent, and a pretty adamant intent for that to be finished this year, so we come back for the school year that is not an issue.
Okay.
We'll be making a heavy push here. Our testing is largely wrapped up, and we'll be making a heavy push in the month of April.
Okay.
To start, moving that out then in full force, that we hit pockets of each type of employee and work through any issue on that front.
Okay.
In addition to that, we do security campaigns, so that's going to be spoofed phishing emails that really aren't phishing. They're originating from our office. That gives us a feel for what vulnerabilities may or may not exist, whether that's being fooled by a malicious link, an attachment, that sort of thing. So we do active assessments on that front. Again, looking for patterns, either so we can address it programmatically by putting procedures in our place to stop it, or just from an education standpoint. And to the education standpoint, we've been having discussions with the faculty tech groups because it is a dry topic. We appreciate that. It's not exciting. No one gets up and says, "Hey, I want to go hear about cybersecurity." So we've been trying to get a feel of what is going to work best. So we've had some good ideas thrown at us. A lot of them, really on the level of engagement that. We do send out a cybersecurity newsletter. Again, not the most engaging topic to necessarily hear about, but we've had some ideas tossed at us that there's some simulators, some quizzes that we can do and have more of an active dialogue with people back and forth in a room. So whether it's at a faculty meeting, something people attend, that sort of thing. We also had good feedback as far as some of the simulations we do, because click on that link, and it does tell you, if you were one of the unfortunate ones to click on it, that this was a simulation, but it does give you that pause of, uh-oh, I did something I shouldn't have. So
If any of our board members do, just click on the links. I'd like to know about it. But have we, our current secure insurance companies, I know some insurance companies have a whole wing that run these kind of trainings, so we're doing it in-house for now. Okay.
So the Commonwealth, actually, maybe a product you've seen as well.
Yes.
Did the Cofence product, so we use that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we leverage that through the BCIU, they have that through the county. So we utilize that. In addition, like I said, we're going to do some in-person engagements a little bit more. Just to, the feedback was basically, we can read this information, we can understand why we shouldn't click on it, but until you have someone necessarily walk you through, hey, here's the email address you should have called. Here's that sort of thing.
Yep.
So we fully appreciate that. So that's one thing we're going to work on in our office is a little bit just more engaging trial and error. Because I think the thought process is, obviously we're an academic institution, we're in the business of teaching kids. Unfortunately, cybersecurity hits us just as hard, if not more, than private industry, simply because the thought is we don't have the resources.
We're a softer target.
Exactly.
It is seen that way, yeah.
Yes, yes. So we're actually seeing cybersecurity actually, as far as tax code, private industry has declined, and the public sector, specifically public ed, has shot up substantially across the country. So we're certainly trying to be proactive on that front. And feel. In addition to that, we certainly have system backups, we have system monitoring, we have system scanning to actively monitor our devices for that kind of threat. So if all else fails, you have monitoring to alert us to that threat, to mitigate it automatically, with backups being our final point of recovery that hopefully we don't get to. In all situations, we designed our systems and our recovery with the idea that we may not necessarily pay the ransom in mind, so we can recover. And in fact, state of Pennsylvania is looking at legislation so the public sector cannot pay ransom. So because that would just make us that much more of a target. So we designed our systems with that in mind, that we can hopefully recover relatively easily from such an attack. So, any general questions on that front? I will admit I don't talk publicly about these things as much, just because of your physical security posture. I try not to put too much out what our cybersecurity posture is, but certainly willing to answer any questions on that front.
I'm good. Okay.
All right. At least on the integrated learning front, so last month we discussed that the coaching team is going around with a series of tech integration professional learning opportunities. We were discussing SAMR last month. Those sessions are in progress, and we've had some positive feedback from the buildings that have had that particular session already. Next up in the list is focused on G Suite and collaboration. So when we're talking about these sessions, one of the concepts we talked about is the fact that everything old is new again. So Google would be that particular functionality. When we originally started rolling that out, not every student had a device in their hands, so our rollout was geared a little bit more differently, as far as computer class and that sort of thing. Obviously, our students can engage those tools now at any time in the classroom. Computer class isn't necessarily an event. Computer class is in the classroom at this point. So we'll be reviewing some of those tools specifically with a focus on collaboration, because that's what we really gain now with every student having access is that collaborative environment that you don't have to wait for a device to become available to go to the computer lab and that sort of thing. So that'll be coming up here in April. And then in May, we're going to finish out with Nearpod and Google Slides. Those are presentation tools. Nearpod makes presentations a little bit more engaging, so students, as a teacher, is walking through a presentation, can answer questions, they can provide feedback and that sort of thing. So again, leveraging the fact that we have technology available to students whenever it's needed, not necessarily when they walk down the hall to a computer lab at this point. Questions on the question?
Nope.
On learning? That's all I have
That's
at
it.
this time.
Do you have any questions? Okay. I don't either, so. Any questions from the public? Okay, we're going to call this meeting. It's 5:45. Thank you.